Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Sam, this is a great one. Why not talk about my favorite hoop conference from a childhood growing up in the mean streets of Oakville, Ontario, Canada? There's no mean streets in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. We got Full Court Press podcast, college basketball experience. We got the Big East preview show. And this means something to us, right? This means something to us. As two DePaul grads, we got the general manager. I love it, man. They got GMs in college basketball now. I love it.
Yeah, maybe the most decorated GM in college basketball. I mean, I'm going to throw that out there. I mean, when you look at this guy's resume.
He was a decent ball player. We might have heckled him a little bit when he was in college. We talked off air.
Yeah.
This is difficult for me. We had the whole Graves family. Well, one man. I'm going to keep calling Andrew. We got LaVall Jordan from DePaul University, former, Big East commentator, and also former Butler head coach and former Butler basketball player. So welcome to the Full Court Press, Coach.
Oh, it's good to be with you guys. Yeah. I was on your side of the table the last few years, so I've earned a lot of respect for what you guys do, being on that side of the mic.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate it. Yeah, we work hard. I work a little harder than Luke, but it's all good. You know?
Oh, no. Oh.
I won't go.
All right, you know what, LaVall, you hear the story that hits differently. That hurt. What's funny is, how did you like commentating? What was that like, going from coaching, game plan, schematics, recruiting, scheduling, to like commentating? You're doing a little bit of that when you think about, you're doing a lot of logistics when you're doing research and what have you, and got to figure out what game you're going to cover and who you're going to cover. But how was that? How did you like it? Because some guys love it and some guys are like, screw this.
I had a great time doing it. Obviously, being with Fox, those guys were tremendous and helped me on board and kind of learn how everything goes. And shout out to Steve Shear and Jordy Weimer and those guys. Bardia, Rashay, those guys like coached me. So I told my wife when I first started, I was like, man, I haven't been a rookie at something in a long time. You're a first year college player and first year playing professional and getting into coaching. It was like, it's been a long time since I've been new at something, but man, had a blast and love learning. One day maybe I'll flip back over there, because the thing that was unique was, as a coach, you're used to, I'm watching our team and the opponents, but not like the whole landscape as much, and paying attention to what everyone is doing and the research for, the non-conference games, and you're like all this study to just get the stories and get the intel and get the information you need to have a good broadcast and have a good show. So that was a lot of work. It's a lot more work than people think.
Yeah. How was it? Like, I mean, so Sam was actually a student athlete at DePaul. I coached DePaul. I played at UIC, obviously we talked about. So we kind of have a unique perspective, just like you. How was that commentating when you kind of, the coach and you kind of want to say something, but were you ever guarded in some of your words?
You know what? I'm a coach, right? So I was mindful of coaches and what they go through, whether it's a good season, great win, or a tough loss, or a tough season in general. And you're just how much work they pour into it, and how much time they put into, trying to develop each player, trying to, get the perfect practice, trying to, put the team together. And sometimes it just doesn't happen the way you want. I've had that happen, in seasons. And so I was partial to trying to protect, coaches and not be a guy with hot takes as much as maybe, some of you guys, and just really be mindful of like what it's like for the coach and telling the story of the coach and what he would be thinking and going through.
We try to stay clear of hot takes, because we understand what it's like, especially like criticizing people. But I find it's interesting. How much did you like the off season?
Oh, that was tremendous.
Yeah, that was nice, didn't it?
I had a wonderful time with my family. Just things that we never were able to do. We took a trip to Europe, went to Barcelona with the family, went to Paris, took my daughters before they got off to college. So, some things that got to coach she's a sixth grader now, but fourth and fifth grade, got to help coach her little basketball team.
Overqualified coach.
Oh man, but it was a blast. It's a blast. Nothing like coaching fourth grade, fifth grade girls.
Yeah. Well, I've done it. I'm trying to get Jay Wright to come assistant coach for me for fifth grade CYO basketball. I need an assistant.
Talked earlier today about it.
Oh, yeah, we're making it happen. We were talking to Coach Jones.
They'll jump stop and play off 2 feet and pivot. That's for sure. Jay's coaching.
There you go. So transitioning. I mean, what was that call like with Coach Holtman? Somebody like Coach Holtman, like incredible reputation around the country. I mean, what he's done building a coaching staff has been really impressive, So what were those initial conversations like?
Yeah, you know what? Our initial conversation was, when things went down at Ohio State, I was just calling to check on him. We've been friends for a while. And obviously that was in February, just to, see how the family was doing, Lori and Nora, his wife and his daughter. But then fast forward to, April, May, as he was making a decision on this opportunity and putting the staff together. And he kind of said, hey, let me throw something at you and see what you think. And so we started to talk through the role and talk through, obviously the rest of the staff. And we've known each other for years. Jack Owens was at Purdue when I was at Michigan. He's from Indianapolis. Parrish Parham was at Illinois when I was there. We were recruiting against each other. You know how it is. Kyle, you see each other on the road. You're friends, but you're competitors, but you have a mutual respect. Brian Mullins is maybe one of few, right? Because I coached against Brian as a player. They came into Hinkle Fieldhouse. Southern Illinois was 16th in the country. I think Butler, we were 15. They came into Hinkle Fieldhouse with Tony Young and Jamal Tate, and they beat us. Mm-hmm. And then Brian came in and beat me as a coach the year after COVID. So
why do you talk to him anymore?
Maybe he's one of two people in the history of basketball to win as a player and a coach in Hinkle. I still talk to him. He's but having such a respect for the staff that Chris was putting together, and then we kind of talked through the family pieces of things and the role, and it just made sense. And my family, we prayed on it and talked to guys. It just felt like a calling and a conviction to come jump on this opportunity and try to help as best I can.
Yeah, it was interesting because we interviewed Coach Holtman, and it was we had a lot of fun, to say the least, and it was a really good interview. And it was kind of like head scratching at first, like, why would you take this job? You had some unfortunate events at Ohio State, and it is what it is. Like, why don't you relax? Like we talked to Conzo Martin, Coach Zoe, and he's like, oh man, I had the greatest 2 years of my life. I was on the beach in Florida. We're telling this to Coach Holtman. He's just like, stop telling me this. Like, just stop telling me this. But I mean, you guys went to work. I mean, if you look at the Big East, there was obviously a drop off last year with DePaul and Georgetown. And if you look at the conference now, I mean, they only got 3 bids last year, which is kind of head scratching, but it is what it is. How good is the conference going to be? Because I feel like every team has gotten better, and not like one or two players. I mean, like significantly better.
Yeah, I've said this, guys, for all the years since I've been in the Big East. Best basketball conference in the country, in my opinion. Just, you got the true round robin, 11 teams now with Connecticut jumping back in the league. You play everybody twice. You get them at home, on the road. There's nothing like it. It's basketball schools. That's the flagship sport.
Well, bar from UConn. UConn wants to consider football, which don't even get me started.
Yeah, they're pretty good at men's and women's basketball too, I think, right?
They're all right.
Yeah. So it's just and then you finish like in Madison Square Garden at the end of the year. Like it was a blast to call the games and be in the studio in Madison Square last year, and just you don't pay attention as much as a coach to the environment, the feel, and man, you had Connecticut and you had Patino coming back and St. John. I mean, it was like amazing, and it's the best conference tournament there is. So there's nothing better than Big East basketball, nothing. And it was a part of me being drawn back, even in this role, just staying in the Big East, right, in a different role. But top to bottom, I mean, obviously we had a lot of work to do, but you look at the conference and Connecticut's been dominant the last couple of years, and Marquette, Creighton, obviously certainly have held their own. Shaka's done a great job, and Coach Mack's been a staple. Ed isn't going to take too long to turn things around at Georgetown, and now you have Coach Pitino at St. John's, and there's such an excitement about that. And Shaheen is a really, really, really good friend of mine, tremendous coach, and they're probably the hardest, least fun team to play against in the conference.
Yeah, but they've always
so you just keep looking up and down this thing, and you just have to lock in on your team and get as good as you can be, because it's like you're uphill battle every single night.
Yeah, but that's Seton Hall for you. I mean, true and true. I mean, even when PJ Clarlissimo was a coach 30-some years ago, Seton Hall was always that team like you had to grind it out to win. I mean, look who played there, a guy named Danny Hurley. That should tell you something. I mean, you got to grind. Donald Copeland, you had to grind it out. I want to ask you, do you ever wish, as when you were coaching at Butler and now at DePaul at your role as general manager and assistant coach, does the other coaches and Coach Holtman yourself, do you ever guys wish you guys had the even amount of teams in the conference?
You know what? I like the 11 because I think the true round robin, we may be the last. The Big 12 was like that, right? But now they've realigned and added. I just love home and away with everyone. And obviously you start adding more teams. Now you're playing single plays. You really want everyone on your home court. Obviously we all enjoy that as coaches, getting everybody to come in, and your fans love it. Like you get Connecticut and Villanova at home every single year. So I like it the way it is. I know it may not stay that way forever, but there's just something, that's nostalgic, that's healthy, that fans love about, the true round robin of the Big East, the way it is right now.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things you just look at the rosters of these teams, from top to bottom, and there's potential future NBA players, and every team's going to have people going pro. I mean, last year you had 3 lottery picks coming from the Big East. You had 8 draft picks overall coming from the Big East. Yeah. And then I look at all-American candidates. You had Alex Karaban, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Cam Jones, Kadari Richmond, Eric Dixon, Zach Fremantle, Bryce. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And it's like, how do you, as a coach, how do you prepare day in and day out? Once you get into that conference schedule, I mean, it's just battle 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, you don't look ahead, Sam. You stay locked in on the very next opponent because, man, it's such a talented league. And you look at the guys coming back, like you mentioned, Ryan Kalkbrenner's still here. Like, my goodness, how long has he been in college? And you still can't.
Evan Eschmeyer, coach. He's Evan Eschmeyer of Northwestern. He's still at Northwestern.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We've been trying to figure out how to get a layup against Creighton for 5 years. That guy's protecting the rim. And, obviously what Danny's done with Connecticut, and Connecticut's always been that, and he's just, kept that sustainable level. I think Kyle's, with Villanova, they're going to be back, and they've got a good class. And like I said, Shaka's done a great job. So you just look up and down with the coaching and the level of coaching. That was something that I obviously enjoyed when I was in that seat, and you love it as an assistant. It just makes you better. It makes you raise your level as a player. It makes you raise your level as a coach, because there are no nights off, absolutely none.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So talking about no nights off, how are Blue Demons looking? I mean, it's going to be an exciting year. I really like what he's putting together. You got some really nice pieces, with some experience like CJ Gunn, blocker, Thomas, trainer. I mean, I can go on. How are you guys preparing for the season as you're getting a little bit closer every day to that first game in November?
Yeah, practices have been intense. Yeah, obviously you look at our roster going from 0 returners, new staff, new system, new language, adding 14 new players from all different places. You got a young man, Teo Pierre Justin, just show up from France a week after school started. So he's learning the language and the basketball language, and, going to class. So, but we're excited about the group. I think the summer really helps, the way that the rules have changed back from when I played, when you were at UIC. Now that you get, those 7-8 weeks in the summer to get acclimated, to get in some of your foundational concepts and terminologies. for us to just get a glimpse to see with all the new, it's so much turnover right now with the transfer portal era and NIL. So you get to at least get a glimpse of your group in the summer and start to try to get acclimated and see how guys are going to mesh together. And now we're in practices. So it's really, for this group, we're excited about what they can become. We know it'll take some time for that to mesh together. But I think, our staff has done a good job of just finding good people that are about the right things, which makes that transitional period maybe go a little smoother because guys just they're about winning. And they really connected off the court, well with each other. Our two guards in the backcourt, Connor Enright's been to the NCAA tournament at Drake and played for a really good coach in Darren DeVries, and he knows what it's like. CJ Gunn's been to the NCAA tournament at Indiana, had a reserve role there and looking for, really make an impact. And he's done a good job of just transitioning. JJ Trainer's coming from Louisville, and, he's got a ton of potential, but played at the level and contributed in high major games. Isaiah, Rivers is a guy that went to the tournament at Colorado State, had a significant role and was right here in Chicago. And so some of those guys that have experience, David Skogman has played. He's in his 5th year of college basketball and brings a unique skill set, pick and pop big. And Troy D'Amico played for Coach Mullen. So we've got there's a kind of, kind of a combination of older veteran guys that know college because we're all new together. So they just got to learn the system and learn our language, learn what Coach Holtman wants, but they're not new to playing on the road in a big game and big environment and those types of things.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question about recruiting. You just named me the whole team, and thank God you only carry 13 guys. No, but I mean, we're real excited for the team, and I think, 0-20 last year. There's only one way but up. But how is recruiting going to change for you guys? Because you brought in 13 players, and it's a different landscape. We don't know how it's going to go. Let's be honest. The NCAA tournament's going to do a ruling on the day of the national championship game, which I think, don't even get me started. But how is, as the general manager, probably overseeing that and organizing that, what is your philosophy going to be? Because you really don't know how many players are going to come back or not. So how do you recruit for that?
Well, I think you have an idea. Obviously, we've got a couple guys that run out of eligibility. We've got 2 commitments for 2025 already that are, high school players coming in. But the portal piece, like you're saying, is a real thing. And, I think if you're providing a really good environment in terms of your culture, your coaching and developing of players, which Chris has been about his entire career, our entire staff has been about, guys will want to stay where you are. You look at Shaka Smart or Matt Painter, like they didn't lose anybody to the portal. They didn't gain anybody from portal. They're established, right? A little bit different than what we're doing. We're trying to get established here. But it proves, if you have a good culture, if you have a good environment, you can have retention, right? Retention is the hardest part in this landscape because there's a market and there's value, and depending on, who's around an athlete, that they can push for those things in this environment, which is not a bad thing, right? It's what we all do in our careers. And so, but you don't want it to be over the top and you don't want it to be a distraction. So I think the 4 C's that matter is as you have your culture, you have your campus, you have your coaching staff, and then you have your collective, which becomes a part of this deal now. And we'll see where it goes with the NCAA rev share and the agreement and how that all plays out. But I think if you're providing a good experience and if you're developing guys to become the best version of themselves, like they'll want to stay. And now you're having the conversation about retention, and you can keep the guys that want to be here.
Yeah. And there used to be a 5C, Sam, Clark's.
Clark's Diner, baby. Gotta love it.
How's the pizza? How's the pizza, Coach? How's the pizza for you?
You know what? I'm not a huge pizza guy. There's an argument. And so we've got Paris Parham on staff, who's a Chicago guy. We've got Brandon Bailey, who's St. Pat's. He's Mr. DePaul. Dad's a legend in high school. Man. And Brian Mullen. So all these guys are like from here. So there's a dispute, an intense dispute about the best pizza in the city? I don't know what you guys would call it, because you know what it is here too.
I'm going with Pequod's. Best pizza.
No, Giordano's.
It's intense. Like, it gets real.
It does, people, especially guys who. I mean, I live there for 9 years.
Sam, Rinaldi's, baby, Rinaldi's.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, that'd be an interesting.
Where's Lou Malnati's at on the list?
Lou Malnati's is probably
good.
second or third.
Because I hear that one. I hear that one like going around the office.
Lou Malnati's is very, and they ship nationwide too. So I'm out in Colorado, so they have shipped a couple pizzas to me.
There's a thing called Tombstone, Sam. You just go to the
gas
station.
It's not the same.
You know how to get the coaches from Chicago really pissed off? Talk White Sox or Cubs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a battle going on there too. So I can actually walk, which is one of the coolest things about, like, I can literally walk to Wrigley in about 15 minutes. Yep. And that is like an awesome, it's just, Chicago's great, man. Especially this time of year, the neighborhoods you can get out and get to the lake, and Lincoln Park, where DePaul is it's a great experience so far.
Yeah. One of the best campuses in the country, that's for sure, for a big metro area. I mean, is that still how important is, you mentioned campus, and obviously DePaul has the city of Chicago, right? How important is that still in the recruiting process,
I think it plays a factor for us, like, and obviously the city is not for everyone, but I think, like I said, with the campus piece, if you love the city, there's not a lot of cities that can compare and compete with Chicago, with especially, the summertime things to do. And then they're passionate about their sports teams, whether it's the Cubs or Sox or Bears or Bulls or, the Blue Demons. So there's and then, we kind of consider ourselves Chicago's team. Like, this city's waiting, for DePaul. It's been a long time, but there's a momentum and an enthusiasm as we go out, and whether it's an NIL fundraiser, which, I'm involved in with Chris a lot, and Dwayne Peavy, our athletic director. Dwayne's done a tremendous job of friend raising in the city, and getting more people on board. And there's so many people passionate about, wanting DePaul to be, what you guys remember, what so many people remember. They talk about the Coach Meyer camps back in the day, and like, people grew up on it. And so, right now there's this tremendous excitement about what's going on. And obviously, we're taking the task and have the responsibility that we take it seriously.
Yeah, no, it's a hard task, but it's, I mean, to your point, it's as an alumni of DePaul, it's like, and talking to other alumni around the country and around the world, for that matter, we haven't been this excited for a basketball season, and we know it's going to take time. But when I look at the roster, you look up some of these highlights or games from some of these guys. I mean, they were the hardest working guys on those courts for those other teams they were playing for. I mean, they were gritty. They were the guys diving for balls, setting screens, and it's like, to get a couple upsets early in the year in the Big East, that's what you need, And what Luke and I talk about is that the next DePaul team that does well and wins in the Big East, they're going to become instant celebrities in the city of Chicago.
Oh, and there's a market here.
For sure.
Talking about branding,
absolutely,
branding yourself and legacy and media. I mean, no place like Chicago. And we were intentional. Chris did a great job of just specifying to the staff, here's the type of guys that fit me. Right, first, you have to know who you can coach and who works well with you, and then who fits DePaul, and that'll be easy to root for, like, because of who they are and the way they played and what their history. You could see a lot of that on film, and obviously we did our deep dive in intel as we were in the recruiting processes.
I keep staring at the stand-ins from last year, and I've got notes of all these kids coming either back or coming in. I'm like, I don't really care about the preseason rankings, because I'm looking at all 11 teams. I know I said this earlier, and I keep harping on this. Like, this league is going to be like, I'm sorry, like, this league is going to be, like, top to bottom, one of the best conferences, if not the best in the country. I'm sorry.
Thanks. That's exactly what we need to hear right now in like October. No, it's what you come for. Like, you recruit to it. I mean, as long as I've been a part of the Big East, you tell kids, hey, this is what you come here for. You're going to play against like the very best. The environments when you go on the road are going to be crazy, but is what you want as a competitor. And I think, our roster is a combination of guys that were proven at another level, whether it's, in the Missouri Valley Conference or other conferences. We got a lot of Missouri Valley guys that really believe that they can contribute to winning, right, in the Big East. And then, like you said, some guys that maybe didn't quite get, the roles that they wanted, but have felt the level of a SEC or a Big Ten, whatever it may be, and know that, they can really play a part in winning. And the idea of, moving a program forward in a positive way as quick as they can, because players want it. They all want it right now. We got to respect the process, but we're excited about the group.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm looking at the players coming in, because we saw some of these guys firsthand, like Pop Isaacs from Texas Tech going to Creighton. I mean, Malik Mack from Harvard, he's going to Georgetown. I mean,
he's very good.
TC, Wesley Cardette Jr. from Chicago State going to Providence, but then Xavier with Ryan Cromwell. We covered Indiana State last year. Yeah. I mean, I just, and like Liam McNeil. I mean, there's so many players.
Really good players. I actually called the game Chicago State at DePaul last year. I was on the call, and
he's a ball player.
He is a
good
ball player, tough kid, physical body, has length and size at his position. Like, he's good. Ryan Cromwell's from Indianapolis. I saw him in high school back when I was, at Butler. So I know he's always been able to score the basketball, and obviously help turn that program around at Indiana State. He's a huge part of it. You look at what Connecticut's doing. I think, with Caravan coming back and Hassan Diarra, but then adding Terrace Reed, who I'm familiar with being at Michigan, and Aiden Mahaney, really good player there, along with bringing in Liam McNeely. So but I think, all the schools in the league, when they've done a good job of identifying and knowing the coaches, identifying players that fit them. I just think a guy like Micah Peavy fits at Cooley, like he just does. Yep. Malik Mack at the point, they just fit. And Shaheen's done a good job. When you lose a guy like Kadari Richmond, it's hard, but
isn't that weird? He's going interconference. I mean, think about when we played. We were back in school in the Midwest, Cleveland.
Oh, could you imagine that?
I mean, can you imagine if like a guy from like UIC went to Loyola, or because Loyola and UIC are kind of one and the same because it's so close. Like St. John's and Seton Hall, they're right there. But can you imagine? Like, you wouldn't. I wouldn't talk to you anymore if you left me.
I don't know if they will. I know Shaheen's a competitive guy, and Kadar had an unbelievable year. I mean, he did a tremendous job of just putting him in a role last year, and it was a shame they didn't make it in. I thought that was, I didn't agree with that because I thought they had done enough to get in there. So he's hungry to get back in, and obviously having to play against. That's the hard part about this portal era, is having to turn around and play in conference against, somebody you just got done coaching. And hopefully we don't see that a ton in our league, but it's just kind of a new reality that we're facing.
Yeah. Sam, you want to get him ready for what we're going to talk about next? Oh, he might have froze. All right, well, I'll start you off. So Sam usually says this. So we're going to do a little thing called the shot clock. I'm going to ask you just some quick, easy answers. It won't be too crazy. I'll make you think a little bit. I'll make you work a little bit, but all in all, a lot of fun.
Uh-oh.
Okay, ready? Here we go. One word to describe the Big East.
Tough.
Okay. One word to describe Coach Holtman.
Competitive.
Okay. And some of these can be longer than one word. If you need more than one word, I'm not going to argue with you. How many bids do you think the Big East will get this year?
Ooh, am I on the shot clock? That's a good question.
Dude, the shot clock's like 6 minutes long. You can take as long as time as you want.
Man, I've got such a respect for our league.
Just pick a number, Coach.
Last year, I'm gonna go with. I'll say 6.
Okay. We had Coach Flanagan.
I could easily go with 7, but I'll say 6.
Okay, 6 or 7. Okay, we had Coach Flanagan. We had Coach Flanagan, who you probably know from Old Miss, formerly of Auburn. Yeah. And he's like 10, and he's like, 14. We're not going to let Oklahoma and Texas are going to have to wait a year. And we're just, we had a blast. What head coach has the best sneaker game?
Oh, that would mean I'd have to pay attention, Kyle.
Oh, I know you looked when you were an analyst.
Yeah, that's a that's like one. Patino doesn't wear sneakers, so he's out.
Yeah.
He's only got the Stacey Adams or something on. I'll say Kyle Neptune. I'll give Kyle
Okay.
some.
I like
Kyle
that. I
some
like
love.
that. Who would you say is the most animated coach on the sideline in the Big East? I know you noticed that.
Oh, easy. That's Coach Hurley. He's
I
intense.
don't even know why I asked that question. Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Best concessions in a Big East arena.
Oh, I didn't get to all of them when I was on the call, so that's a hard judge. I hear Providence, but I haven't experienced it. But I'm just telling you what I hear.
Duncan Center.
Yeah.
Okay. Toughest arena to coach in.
Oh, it's a beast now. Like, I can't even. I think Creighton and Providence are like we never won at Creighton. Our guys were the year COVID hit. We had a pretty good team and still couldn't get it done there. It's just a tough place. Every time we went, it seemed like it was dollar beer night or like pink cancer awareness night. And it's like they're not losing when everybody's wearing pink. There's kids crying. They're holding up signs with names on them. And it's a tremendous cause. But like, why did it always have to be us? So and it's like, hey, I'm supporting the cause and I'm in agreement with it. But like every time we go there, they're already doing. So Creighton was tough. I think Providence is, when that place is rocking, it's a fun place to play when you're on the other side, but it's a hard place to go get a win.
Yeah. So the Big East is doing a candle collection, and they're going to have a LaVall Jordan candle. What scent would it be?
What scent?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Lavender.
Okay.
Something smooth.
Sam, who hated lavender? Coach Spiker at Drexel.
That's one of them, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was one of them.
We have heard everything from Coach Amir at South Florida. He was gunpowder smoke.
Yeah, gunpowder. Yeah,
a lot of Texas go for like that vanilla bourbon smell.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Strawberry. All right, so they're doing a movie about the Big East Conference. Okay, about all the coaches, and you're included. Even past president, current coaches are included.
Yeah.
What would be the name of the movie, and who would play you?
Oh, that's a name of the movie. Oh man, now I got to get creative. Name of the movie would be Toughest Team Sets the Rules.
Ooh,
that's the movie title.
Okay.
Who plays me? Holy goodness. Now I got to know actors.
Well, we know Kevin Costner is playing Coach Holtman.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one. Billy D. Williams plays me.
Yeah, Billy D. I love it.
Don't let the smooth taste fool you, right?
Can I be in it? I'll be Chewbacca.
There you go.
Well, Coach, you won nothing. You got nothing, but hopefully made you do some realization in your life. So, Sam, set him up, big boy.
Yeah, Coach, we appreciate coming on the Full Court Press podcast, talk a little Blue Demon basketball and Big East basketball preview. Turn it over to you. Anything you want to share to the Blue Demon fans, city of Chicago, anything the team's looking forward to this year and what they can expect?
No, I appreciate it. No, we're just excited. You guys are. I learned today that you're passionate about it. It's fun to take over, to join in with this staff, to try to resurrect and get and former players. Wilson Chandler was by here the other day. Max Struess has been tremendous. He came by, worked out with our guys. Like there's a lot of guys that are passionate about joining in and helping us. And I think that's the cool thing that I've experienced at other places. Is when everybody's on board to help, get a place back to relevancy and to the competitive level that we know it can get to. And our guys are excited. We're ready to see some outside competition. We're at that point in the year. So we'll have a private scrimmage here coming up. We'll have an exhibition game just to kind of see where we are in terms of lineups and rotations and try to find our best way to be the best version of us for this season. But we're looking forward to it. It's really exciting. It's been fun up to this point to be a part of it. We know the Big East is a monster. Like, we know that, and that's real. But we're going to take it one game at a time.
Yeah, I love on social media, Sam and I joke about this. Like, everybody's clamoring to get scores from scrimmages.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, come on, man. I mean, but I will tell you, and you might want to tell Coach Holtman this. I ran into Max Strus last week, week or two ago at a fundraiser for the Cavs. And he told me to send his dog's regards to Coach Holtman. I guess he bit Coach Holtman on a recruiting visit. You're laughing. You know about it.
He knows the story. He knows the story.
Max has been great though. Like all the other things aside, he's been phenomenal. And I coached against him, and he still gives me a hug. So
yeah, he's a good guy. Well, Coach, you're going to stick on one more minute for us just so we can upload. But Coach, we really thank you for your time. We are really excited for DePaul. We're really excited for the Blue Demons and obviously the Big East. And Coach Jordan, we wish you the best. And I know we're going to be watching. Sam, that was a great show. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review. Also check out the College Basketball Weekly. We might talk a little Big East on there sometimes. And DePaul, obviously, as two former graduates. But you'll catch us next time in another preview show on the Full Court Press Podcast, the College Basketball Experience.
Get it.